What's going on, everybody? My name is Box from Box and Jackalope, and welcome back to the Kun-Lai Campfire. It's now March 2021. In the last episode we interviewed our good friend Crucial, and Skoll and I really wanted to bring it back. We've been really kind of thinking about the future of the series, and we've had a lot to talk about with World of Warcraft lately amongst ourselves, and we kind of said to ourselves, mainly me, I'm the one at fault here, but me and Skoll were both like, we haven't been doing an episode, and Skoll's like, I'm always down, Box, so here we are. So welcome back, Skoll.
Hello. It's been forever.
I literally looked at the last upload, and I was like, dang, 6 months. It's been 6 months. Like, holy crap. Like,
it's been half a year.
I feel like that's how time flies right now, though. Like, in 2020, 2021 time. Like, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
We've been in this pandemic for a year now, which is crazy.
I don't know how long it's going to last even further, but
we
move on to... Well, as bright as Sylvanas topics can be, that we could move it on to talking about that.
I was about to say, we have like the pandemic topic tonight. We got Sylvanas Windrunner in Shadowlands, and I guess to open things off with her as a character, if as many of you know, like who followed me and Skoll throughout the years, and other friends, we weren't too big on her BFA iteration in terms of like, why is she doing this? Why is she behaving this way? I always kind of liked her as a villain in BFA, I won't lie to you. But in Shadowlands, I think Blizzard is taking her in a pretty good and safe direction. I think one thing that Skoll and I often talked about before with Sylvanas was, are they going to redeem her? Are they not going to redeem her? And a big concern was them wiping the slate clean with her. There's been interviews recently, I don't know the exact developer, but they actually said that no, she needs to face punishment for Teldrassil. And I think that's fair. God, if Garrosh didn't face punishment for Pandaria, I probably would have been pretty upset as a Pandaren player in some way, shape, or form. Granted, that's a whole nother topic with Garrosh, but yeah, Sylvanas definitely needs to pay for what she did. Whether or not she's having regrets right now with Anduin, there's a lot of visual cues in those cinematics with her facial expression, which kudos to Blizzard's animation team as usual. They really put a lot of subtle references in those cinematics. And I think a lot of fans, especially you go on Warcraft Twitter, sorry if I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, Skoll, but like you go on Warcraft Twitter and you just see all these people that are really passionate about the work that Blizzard does. And then the employees too, like they interact with the community all the time, and it's really fun to see that interaction from the community. I would say the release of the cinematics is probably a highlight for the Warcraft community. And the one at BlizzCon Online was very well received with Anduin. I personally liked it a lot. I'm very excited for 9.1, where I will end my first bit here with, Sylvanas is the raid boss of the new raid, which it begs the question for me and Skoll, what are they going to do with her at the end of this raid? Skoll has some awesome theories he wants to share with you guys, so I'm going to let him talk.
Well, yeah, I've got a lot to say about good old Sylvanas Windrunner. I see this is such a weird thing because whenever it's talking about Sylvanas Windrunner, you have people on so many different sides of it. And initially, I was actually a huge fan of Sylvanas, equally so to so many people and fans of her. It kind of died down over the years. Like, I'd say Wrath of the Lich King was where it was at its strongest, where I was like, man, this Sylvanas character is so cool. I love her. She's so sexy.
That's recorded forever on this podcast now, guys. I'm gonna pull that audio, put it in some machinima. Like, I might take Reckoning after this and throw that audio at it.
It's such a common thing with Sylvanas. Like, so many people are well attracted to her, and it's like, okay, I'm more of a Jaina guy myself, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, with Sylvanas though, she's been a fan favorite for a while, and I'd say it died down a lot for me in BFA, but also a little bit in Legion too. There's only so many times you can take this character of, she's so nihilistic and so cruel and mean and antagonistic, and it's just honestly the finest example of what the Horde really doesn't embody anymore. Like, Sarfang did a really good job of explaining, like, she's the perfect legacy of, like, Black Hand's legacy or whatever, but like when it comes to like the good war chiefs like Thrall, Vol'jin, even a little bits and pieces of Garrosh. Of course, Garrosh is, you know, just as bad, if not worse. I wouldn't even say worse anymore.
I think Sylvanas actually killed more people than Garrosh.
I think, like, with Garrosh is such a complicated matter because, like, the biggest thing I've noticed, and this is something I definitely want to get into regarding Garrosh and Arthas and Sylvanas, because so many people lump them all together when it's discussing them, and it's like, so many people are like, you know, oh, if you think Sylvanas shouldn't get redeemed, why do you think Garrosh should get redeemed, or Arthas? And, like, first of all, no. Second of all, if they're all getting redeemed, the best way to do that is by lumping them all into Revendreth. Like, Garrosh is already there. Arthas was probably meant to go there, though that's up in the air because Blizzard confirmed that he was not mind-controlled completely by Zavol. He was actually in charge of most of his actions, so...
And it's kind of like apples and oranges, too, comparing those three characters. Like, I agree with you, Skoll.
I'd say, like, a lot of people are just, like, when it comes to Sylvanas, like, oh, you think that Arthas should get redeemed, but Sylvanas shouldn't. And in my own personal opinion, out of all those three, Garrosh had the most potential out of all of them, and... I still think that, like, you know, if you're gonna lump them all together and be like, all right, which one of these guys should be redeemed and which ones shouldn't, it's such a difficult matter because, one, you're comparing, like, they've done all terrible things, but, like, with Revendreth, this is why I keep bringing up Revendreth, is it has people who have literally destroyed worlds in that realm. Like, where do we cross the line at with most of these characters? Like, you have people who are basically, like, saying, oh, Arthas should be in the Maw because he was the Lich King and he did all these terrible things to Sylvanas and all these other characters and all that stuff, and, you know, like, with Garrosh, he was in control of his actions, but he's immediately sent to Revendreth when he died. So it's clear as me that, you know, there's potential there for him to redeem himself.
And even the Bronze Dragonflight said that with all the other realities where Garrosh was actually, like, a successful war chief and actually led the Horde with honor. I mean, you can even see that potential in his character if you really dive deep into it. There's a reason so many people like him. And, like, I think it's cool. This is random, Skoll, but you got me. I'm a really big Garrosh fan. It's weird. I like Pandaren as my favorite race, but Garrosh is, like, one of my favorite characters. There's so many hidden things about that character that makes him so widely discussed. God, what did he die, like, 7 years ago now? And people still talk about him. Like, he's a great character. He really is. Like, God, please, I hope he gets a good arc in Revendreth. The worst arc they could give him, in my opinion, is... oh, he's still evil, he went to the Maw. I think that would be really disappointing.
I just think that it makes the most sense in my eyes to send all three of these characters to Revendreth. Yes, Arthas was an agent to the Maw. Yes, he did terrible things, but at the same time, though, the reason why he went on this path and started on this path was initially to save his kingdom, to save his people, in a very similar fashion to Sylvanas. Now, here's the kicker with Sylvanas that makes me the most suspicious about her character and why she sided with the Jailer. The Jailer is the one who created the Lich King. There's no disputing that now. He's the one who forged Frostmourne. He's the... well, he didn't forge it, I should say, but he's the one who wanted it forged. And he probably had the Dreadlords forge it for him from the blueprints that the Runecarver, aka the Primus, did. I'm still bent on that.
I'm with you on that.
But... you have the Jailer, Zavol. He is the one who created the Lich King, who then created the Scourge, who then led eventually to Sylvanas dying and being raised, right? Why would Sylvanas side with this man? Why would Sylvanas be sent to the Maw and not Revendreth or Maldraxxus for her deeds? As much as people want to rant on about how many terrible things Sylvanas did in Classic and Wrath of the Lich King and parts of Burning Crusade, I don't think she really did anything in Burning Crusade, but
she was just hanging out in Undercity, you know.
She was a little mean to the Blood Elves, maybe. I actually think she helped them out, come to think of it, in Burning Crusade.
Yeah, you actually give her, like, that, so in the Blood Elf starting area, there's that letter you can get from,
Yeah, I remember that. But, like, it had me thinking for a bit here, like, okay, well, she sided with Zavol because she hates, you know, where she ends up. However, that has me thinking, I don't think the Arbiter actually sent her there. I really can't think about it. Like, the only thing I can maybe think of is because she was killed by Arthas and raised by Arthas, that she was labeled as a jailer agent because of that. But, you know, like, it has me very confused because you have plenty of the Forsaken. You see them all throughout, like, different zones in Shadowlands. I think you could even see them in Bastion of all places. So that has me thinking, I don't think Death Knights and Forsaken and anyone who gets raised automatically gets sent to the Maw. That makes no sense. So I'm guessing that Zovaal did something. I think he rigged the system to get Sylvanas sent there, which creates this endless cycle of, oh, I was sent to the Maw, I hate the system. And the only reason why she hates the system is because the jailer was the one who rigged it. That's my belief. Like, as much as people don't like Sylvanas and what she's done, like, she's done terrible things, but the reason why she's done those terrible things is because she was sent initially to the Maw, all the way back during Cataclysm, and she's been trying to prevent that.
And
so,
yeah, and that's so in character for her too, right? Like,
yeah,
how she freed the Forsaken, right, from being controlled.
Yeah.
And in her mind, like, maybe like if she double crosses Zovaal, or like maybe like you were saying, like, she doesn't see any way to beat him because she's just been controlled by him from the start. But like you were saying, like, maybe a fitting end for her, technically. They said something huge is going to happen at the end of this raid, and like a fitting end might be Sylvanas somehow getting freed from Zovaal, and maybe people decide their own fate a little bit more, that they aren't controlled. I'm not really sure. I'm really looking forward to that cinematic though.
They can go so many different ways and routes with Sylvanas' character, and I think this is a good point to like kind of shift it over from talking about, you know, the whole like situation of like Garrosh and Arthas, because I really wanted to bring that up when I was talking about this podcast, because so many people, whenever it comes to Sylvanas, they always lump her together with them. But in terms of like Sylvanas and where her fate goes, what I really liked about Shadowlands of what it did, and this is the biggest fear that we had during BFA, was we were worried that Sylvanas was gonna come out here and go, you guys were following in my footsteps all along, blah 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 blah. I was right, you were wrong. Sarfang was stupid to do this, and we would have nodded our heads and go, you know what, you're right, Sylvanas, we were stupid.
That would have sucked.
They don't go that route at all, and I love that. I do not like this master chess player Sylvanas that so many people play her out to be. I love that Anduin is the one to point out to her, look at who you're serving. This guy is this guy is like mega worse than the Lich King, and he wants to send us all to hell, basically, just so he can escape. Like, Anduin is pointing out the flaws in her plan, and she's like, no. They're not going to destroy everything. He's just going to recreate it. He's going to change things up. It's a very... I'm getting very similar vibes to how Kil'jaeden kind of viewed Sargeras. Like, you know, like Kil'jaeden is like, you know, believes that the Burning Crusade is right and just, and, you know, gives them power, gives them responsibility. Like, they need to purge life in order to purge the void. Right. And you know, they have a point here and there, but like, you know, it's clear as day that the life can also oppose the void. Like, the Burning Legion is a perfect example of, like, you know, you guys are actually opposing the void pretty well, and it's because Sargeras united everyone together to fight them. Like, he didn't kill you, so there's a flaw in Sargeras' whole scheme there. Same with Zovaal, same with the jailer. Like, this guy is over here going like, yeah, let's go ahead and, you know, change up the whole system. Let's go ahead and ruin it. But I think that Sylvanas 1 does not have the full picture too. And also, like, this whole thing between her and Anduin is so important, and there's so many parallels to Arthas and her, and it's interesting that, like, a lot of people pointed this out, but, like, why didn't Sylvanas feel as guilty about turning Anduin into Arthas 2.0, like she turned herself, Delarin from Teldrassil, from the War of Thorns, into another version of her? I think that it's different because with Sylvanas, she wanted Delarin to be, you know, part of her group, a part of the Forsaken, and to see just how flawed she was in believing in life and hope and all that stuff. And in a way, she succeeded in doing that with Delarin without even, like, tampering with her, as far as we know. Like, there might have been some level of mind control there, but it's hard to say. I think
it's pretty interesting that Delarin's alive still, too.
Oh yeah, she's still, both her and Cordana, not Cordana, my bad.
Counterfeit Cordana, or whatever.
Counterfeit Cordana, what's her name?
Sierra Moonwarden.
Sierra Moonwarden, yes. Cordana was cooler. But I would have been way cooler if like Sylvanas was like, I'm gonna revive Cordana and make her join me.
Right.
Anyway, that's a completely different topic. I feel bad about Cordana. She got done dirty. But God, where was I? Fuck.
I think it was about oh god.
We're talking about Delarin. We were talking about the parallels between Sylvanas and Arthas and Delarin and Anduin, all that stuff. But like, I think that the whole thing is Sylvanas doesn't mind. She's never mind creating different versions of herself. She's been doing that for years with the Dark Rangers. What she does with Anduin is she flat out has created another Arthas. And worse, this Arthas has even less free will than, you know, the Lich King Arthas did. Like, Arthas had some control over the undead under what he wanted, but Anduin, he's just a puppet, and he never got to side with her. He never got to make up that choice that she did. She wanted him to, like, join her willingly. That's what she wanted. But Zobel was like, nah, I don't got time for that. We're rushing things. You're gonna turn him, and that's that. And they don't show us, like, you know, they don't show that scene to us, and I think they did that on purpose. I think that she did do it, though. I think she did ultimately convert him, and she's realizing how messed up and wrong she was to do that. And I don't know where her arc is going to go, because she's still the raid boss, right? So there's no way that they're going to just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to side with you guys, I was wrong. I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think that she's just going to, you know, turn over and join us and fight the Zovol. I think that we're going to have to beat sense into her, so there will be some, you know, more scars to her face probably, or something like that Sarfang did to her, which, by the way, I love that Sarfang has forever marked her. Like, it's a very similar parallel to Broxigar and Sargeras. I love that shit.
Now, Skoll, I got a question for you about Sylvanas real quick.
What's the question?
Do you think she's gonna survive the 9.1 raid?
I think she is,
mm-hmm.
but there's a chance she won't as well. It really depends on where they want to go with her. I was just about to talk about what I think they might do with her.
Mm-hmm.
It can go in so many different ways, though. So, case in point, the raid is centered around her as the final boss. We do fight some familiar faces. They haven't called out everybody, but they basically were like, you are going to see some people that you've seen before.
Kel'Thuzad, I believe,
both good and bad. Kel'Thuzad, Ner'zhul was confirmed, so a former Lich King, the first Lich King, might I add, is one of the bosses. So I believe they said it was a boss.
I actually didn't know that. That is so cool.
I believe they confirmed that in an interview. Either he's a boss or he makes a cameo in the raid as, like, you know, somebody help free. I think it'd be super cool if Ner'zhul helps us out. I know that's very hypocritical to say, I don't want Sylvanas helping us out, which I don't. It's kind of weird to say.
Depends how they do it. It really depends how they do it.
I think they're doing a good job of building up to that point where she definitely is going to side with us eventually,
mm-hmm.
but I also don't think it's going to be that simple where it's going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry about killing everyone in Toter. So, like, no, she's going to be she's going to be worse than Illidan was. She's going to be flat out, like, enjoying the fact that we can't kill her, and if we do, we'll lose our ear in on what's going on with the jailer. Like, either she'll pretend to still work for the jailer after this, or she'll flat out join us completely and just, like, you know, help us out with bringing the jailer down, because she's gonna realize the jailer is her enemy, he isn't her ally. This is what I predict with Anduin. I think that Anduin's kind of lost his use, maybe, after 9.1. Like, I think that what's going to happen is all the keys are going to be gathered up by him or by Sylvanas or something through the campaign and storyline. I think that Draka is the one who has the Maldraxxus key. I think that somewhere in Revendreth, unless he already has that key, which he probably does, let's be fair. I think the Winter Queen definitely has it on her person. I'm trying to think who else. He needs 3 more, right? So I think Maldraxxus it's on Draka. I think Draka has the key, which has me very concerned about our boy Thrall, because some people drew parallels and conclusions that maybe Thrall is just as twisted as Anduin is right now, and that scares me. That has me afraid.
Oh my god,
Jaina
that would
and
be...
Bane.
Honestly, Skoll, like, I know we already fought Jaina and corrupted Thrall last expansion, but, like, I don't want them to die, but, like,
No,
that would
don't
definitely
kill
be a
them.
fun raid boss if that
Well,
happened.
they already confirmed that Anduin isn't dying. They said that he's gonna have to deal with the actions he's committed, and I would imagine it'd be the same with the other characters if they get controlled, which I honestly hope they aren't, but then a lot of people want them to be controlled because I want to beat the stuffing out of Thrall for what he did with Garrosh. Like, I don't... Why are so many people, like, so negative on some of these characters, like Bane and Thrall and Jaina? Like, calm down.
So Ban, not to change the subject because it's really related to what you were saying.
Yeah.
What if... Because, like, we have no idea how to really stop what's going on right now, and, like, I think Blizzard's done a good job of making the Jailer look really powerful, if not, like, design-wise, but, like, his presence in the story. He feels like this really powerful, unbeatable guy. I think if anyone was to help us beat him, I hate to say it, Sylvanas would have the most insight after that patch, depending on what they do with her.
I think that Ner'zhul and Sylvanas are going to help us out quite a bit. I'm also kind of skeptical on Kel'Thuzad, too. Like, it just seems like all the flunkies and, like, allies of the Jailer, they're either really, like, firm in on his plans, like Halia. Like, I think Halia is definitely, like, going to be a boss, too, in the raid, and I think she's definitely on board with it, because she hates Odin's ass, and everything about, you know, what's happened. Like, I think Halia is, like, Sylvanas turned up to an 11, honestly, because, like, there is no regret with Halia. Halia does not regret her actions. She wants praise, she wants love. She does not really have any redeemable qualities to her, which is sad, because I feel bad about her origins, in all honesty. But, like, and then you have, like, Kel'Thuzad, like, I don't know, I think you have done the Maldraxxus.
Oh my god,
campaign,
it was glorious. I freak it, excuse my language, we're canceled on YouTube now because I swore.
Wow.
I really liked the last quest of the Maldraxxus campaign, revolving him.
If you remember the cutscene there's a moment where Kel'Thuzad is dragged in by the Mossworn, and he does not look happy. So it has me going, like, how many are gonna end up, like,
forced,
you know, helping us? Are they there willingly? Are they gonna help us out, or are they just kind of like, this Jailer guy sucks, but I also like being brought back from the dead? So I kind of wonder, like, how many of them, because you got Mozala, you got... I hope he comes back, by the way.
I feel like he will for a raid boss, like a full one.
I honestly hope that we get more of a story with him. Like, if they, like... I love troll-themed expansions now after BFA. Like, I loved Zandalar content, and I was very upset when we didn't return to it. I would love it if out of all the characters who escapes the Maw, it's Mozala. That'd be so cool.
I know Talanji's dealing with a lot of shit right now after BFA, but I actually really miss her presence in the storyline. I think it would have been nice to maybe have her make a cameo in Shadowlands at some point, which could still happen.
There are so many characters I want to make cameos after Shadowlands, but I'm okay with the characters we've got right now. I like Thrall a lot, so... But
I was really happy that... I'm sorry, just one more thing about Talanji. Skoll.
No, go ahead.
I was really happy, because we talked about this for a while, that Rastakhan and Talanji got that beautiful scene in Shadows Rising at the end of the novel. I was really happy about that. That's one of my favorite novels, to be honest. It had G, Firepaw, Thrall. We'll do another podcast on the G and Thrall stuff in the future. We were talking about that today, because I never made a full video on it.
We've got to make a lot of topics and videos at some point. There's so much to talk about, because we've been gone for so long. 6 months, as Box has said, which is like, holy shit, time has flown.
I'm sorry, Banneret.
You better be sorry. But, back on topic to Sylvanas, though. So you have all these characters definitely who are, I have no idea if they're going to stay with the jailer, but I think Sylvanas is definitely going to be a character. They're building up to it. They're building up to the fact that she is going to definitely backstab the jailer in some form. Now, either she'll be a Kerrigan-like character, where she will be the flat-out person to bring the final blow to the jailer in some capacity and then replace him, which is like, no.
Yeah, I'm a little on that, but I could see it happening.
I'm okay with her being one of the characters to help bring him down, but not replace him or be the sole character to bring him down. And
what about imagine if Bolvar did it, because that's something that could happen.
I want Bolvar to be the one that brings the jailer down. I get that people want Sylvanas to have a moment where she's a badass and heroic and all that stuff. Like, if we have to like pick our berries here, I would be okay with Bolvar and Sylvanas teaming up and bringing the jailer down, and then Sylvanas like dying or something, like an ultimate sacrifice, and she gets to go to a different realm that is not the Maw because of her final action. And
that,
it's like
that would be kind of poetic with them teaming up at the end too, considering how the whole story started, the two of them.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I mean, I also wanted Bolvar to kill Sylvanas, but alternatively, this is my ideal ending, and I know a lot of people have gripes with it, but ideally what I want is Sylvanas is on her deathbed. She is not doing so great, she is not doing so hot, and she is definitely going to be sent to the Maw. She does not have her Valkyr because we killed them during the fight. That's my belief. So her Valkyr die. She has no more means and methods to escape the Maw now, and she has some stuff to give us, like knowledge or whatever, but she also wants to do one last thing, and this is my belief too. I think that Anduin will be heavily a part of the fight. Like, it'll be like a dual battle. Like, we'll be fighting Anduin and Sylvanas at the same time.
Ooh, that would be awesome,
and
actually.
I think that Sylvanas' last act before she, dies completely and goes to the Maw, which, by the way, will be corrected later on in a patch or something. I don't know. She frees Anduin. She uses her last bit of power that the jailer gave her to free Anduin. And Anduin recognizes his sacrifice and will remember it, but also remember all the horrible things she did. But that freeing Anduin is the key moment of where we can defeat the jailer, because I don't know, let's say Anduin has one of the keys on him, or
even all four of them, that he was looking for. Like, that would piss Zoval off to no extent.
I do think though that the jailer will escape the Maw. Or Torghast by the end of the raid, because they already confirmed that the Maw and the Shadowlands will be changed forever after this raid, which either will mean A, we still need to fight the jailer and he's out in the Maw somewhere just waiting for us to fight him, or B, like the flow of anima is restored and fixed and all that stuff. So something positive might happen at the end of this raid, but I think that it can go so many different routes. I do think that Sylvanas will help us out in some form against the jailer, either by joining us or by freeing freeing Anduin. I almost said freeing Sylvanas.
This is random, but as we progress through the expansion, this is something I did in Legion, but with like Argus in the skybox. I hope if we like destroy that thing in Revendreth or whatever, like the Maw becomes smaller again or something later on. I think that would be really cool. Little touches like that go a really long way for me.
I really liked that, like the Maw kept changing as you progressed and leveled. I also really liked the whole Argus moment, and I love stuff like that. I was so devastated and upset when they did not do something like that with N'Zoth and BFA. Like, he should have been, like, lurking in the ocean or something. Like, he just would pop his little head out and look at us. Like, there should have been an ocean themed raid around N'Zoth in the depths. I don't think I liked how the Black Empire was in its own realm, but that was done dirty. That's a rant that we've done so many times on this channel. In the future, I'd like to do another one, to be honest, about what could have been with the Black Empire. I mean, what still could be at some point, right? Like, I think that we're not done with it. With Ajara and Xal'atath still out there, those two are. I'm looking for those two. I'm looking forward to whenever those two come back. I'm so grateful for BFA is the one expansion where so many bosses did not die.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that, because there are so many characters that they really need to focus on and do properly, like Ajara and Xal'atath.
I have a really big soft spot for BFA. Like, I know a lot of people don't like it, but like, There's
We
parts
both
of
do.
the stuff that I really like in it. I really like. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I really didn't like, but the stuff that really goes a long way for me went a long way. I mean, I think 8.3 is really the only big blunder for me story-wise, but otherwise it was fun. It was really fun to speculate, and that's like kind of what I look forward to. Like I might get some hate for this, Skoll, but like I was more interested in how BFA was going to end up than Shadowlands, to be honest, at the time.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you way too much on that point. I think that it's just with Shadowlands, like you and I have both agreed on this, that Shadowlands feels very filler-like.
Yeah.
How much of this stuff is really going to matter? Like, it's very similar to Warlords of Draenor, where like the meat and potatoes were with Garrosh, and in this situation, it's with Sylvanas. I really don't care too much about the jailer. In all honesty, like he's threatening, but you know, like, I'm not curious about who he is. I'm not curious about what he's going to do. I mean, I'm kind of curious because he's messing up with Anduin and the characters that Sylvanas dragged into the Shadowlands. But, you know, there's only so much, like, drawing me in the Shadowlands. It's mainly the living characters, not the dead characters. And considering that the whole thing about Shadowlands is you're supposed to be invested in the dead and not the living is kind of telling when, you know, you and me, Box, are like, we care about Thrall, we care about Anduin, we care about Sylvanas, but not the Archon and the Jailer.
Yeah, and like one of the highlights for the leveling for me personally, and I think this was done intentionally, was like, oh my god, it's Alexandros Mograine, like all those people. Oh my god, it's Uther. Oh my god, it's Draka. Oh my god, it's Vosh. That was the best part of leveling for me. And like I almost like I know you don't want to cheapen death, but I almost feel like Blizzard didn't go far enough with the return of like dead characters during the leveling. Like even a small cameo from, depending on what they're going to do with Garrosh, but even a small cameo of him somewhere in Ravendreth would have gone a long way for me.
I know that a lot of their choices were based around, like, how important, like, does it make sense for the narrative? Like, you know, Thrall meeting Draka is, like, a big deal, which they're building up to. Probably in 9.1, I imagine there's going to be a cinematic or questline centered on that, which, like I said, scares me because Thrall might be possessed by the Jailer at some point. Because, one, he got his axe back somehow, and two, the characters
a
little weird after they got out, but
his axe would look so sick as a rune blade.
It kind of would. And there's like some data mine stuff where somebody found a slab that looks a lot like Thrall's axe, like a blueprint imprint thingy mojig. I'd have to find it and send it to you at some point, but
I'm full on expecting a Skoll Shorty's Twitter post with Thrall as the Lich King look like the Anduin has. I'm full on expecting it now.
I mean, we already have that with Hearthstone, thankfully, but
I forgot about that. He looks awesome too.
Yeah. We also have that with Jaina too, and Garrosh, which I've used for your one video
thumbnail
we talked about. Yep.
I love that thumbnail. It looks so good. That was a fun video. I was totally off with that speculation though.
Yeah, they haven't really done anything with that. I mean, Denathrius is still active. That's another thing. They were like, Denathrius was another Bwonsamdi character where like they loved the voice actor so much and the character so much that they were like, yeah, let's keep him around for another round. So Denathrius is probably gonna get redeemed then, which I
guess it kind of fits the realm at least for him.
I really do not get the hype around that guy. Like a lot of people find him sexy, a lot of people find him appealing. I'm over here like, we have lost Crexus. Bring Crexus back. I don't care about Denathrius. Denathrius got his time in the spotlight.
Honestly,
friends.
He could have died in the Ravendreth raid, and I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, he got his moments, and I had fun with him. But I mean, hey, if he becomes a hero, cool, I guess. But
Crexus needs his own episode.
Crexus deserves to be brought. I really hope that like when the Primus comes back, like to just demonstrate how powerful this guy is, he just revives Crexus and he's just like, sup, this is my power.
That would be so cool. And then Crexus can kill the Baron guy or whatever. That would be cool.
Right? That could be a boss too in the raid. I'd imagine he might be actually.
Yeah.
Unless they want to deal with Virez in the campaign, because they said that the loose ends with each of the campaigns are going to be dealt with in the combo campaigns.
Oh.
So no one has a single campaign this time it's more along the lines of everyone has the same one, but there will be some nods to your campaigns, like, oh, if you're a Necrolord, like, oh, it's you, Necrolord.
So I think that is a great design choice, because, like, I'm not bagging on BFA, but you go back to BFA and a lot of the story felt very disjointed, like with two factions at some parts. But now it combines all of them if you didn't play. I mean, I like the replay value, Skoll, don't get me wrong, in BFA. And same with Shadowlands, but it's nice that it combines it all with, like, the middle patch so you don't have to do it over and over again. I like that.
I might get hate for this, but I really liked the simplicity of just Alliance and Horde fighting each other. You don't have any other factions. You don't have to worry about leveling any other ults. Like, I feel like I need to level ults to see the story. I mean, I can just watch it on YouTube, but that's not as fun.
It's not the same. You don't get the big reveals.
It's not the same either, but I have not been able to level ults yet in Shadowlands. Like, I get really tired when it comes to leveling in this expansion. And in comparison to BFA, where I loved every minute of going in Nazmir and Zandalar and even Vol'dun, like, didn't feel that on Alliance side. Like, Alliance side, I like Drustvar at most, but
I like
the zones.
Tierguard a lot on Alliance. Like, this visually was so good.
I like Stormsong, but that was because Rexar was in it. So
this podcast went from Sylvanas to BFA appreciation, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
that seems to be most of our podcasts, honestly. But yeah, with man, back to Sylvanas though. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do in 9.1. I see there's so many things that can happen, and like there's the whole Tyrande situation too.
I keep forgetting that Tyranda's around, to be honest with you.
She's more in the Ardenweald campaign, to be fair. Like, we don't get to see her at all if you're not Ardenweald.
It's because we went the right covenant, Skoll. We're Maldraxxus.
Well, Ardenweald does have Vol'jin in it.
That's fair.
So
and Bwonsamdi.
And Bwonsamdi. I'm looking forward to the Vol'jin stuff. I have a whole video talking about what's gonna go on with Vol'jin. That's a podcast of its own too.
We have a lot of good topics coming up, actually.
But you have Tyrande out there. She is on for the hunt. She is on for the kill of Sylvanas. And if you have Sylvanas plea for her life, like, hey, I can help you guys free Anduin, I can help you guys stop Zavol, I don't think Tyrande's gonna answer with that. I think that so many players are worried about this scene, but I think that...
Do you know what would be really cool, but people would hate Tyrande? If, like, Sylvanas knows how to beat the jailer, but she just fucking kills her. Like, she just, like, that would actually make some interesting drama if that happened, too, between the Alliance, which could cause more of a splinter, between Anduin and, like, everyone, and, like, with...
We already got plenty of splinters.
Tyrallion being High King. We don't know what the hell him and Illyria are doing back on Azeroth right now, either. Like, especially after those scenes of Shadows Rising, dude. I hope they make Tyrallion a villain, to be honest.
I think
really
they're gonna be... I think the next expansion is going to be, I know people aren't going to like this, but I definitely think we're going to go back to Alliance versus Horde, but this time, I think the Alliance are going to be the baddies. I think that Tyrallion and Illyria in charge of the Alliance is the worst idea Anduin ever thought of. I mean, technically he was just like, I'll make Tyrallion the leader of the military, and then he got kidnapped by Sylvanas and her angel buddies, but, you know full well that Illyria is, like, second in command, or second in charge, with Tyrallion in charge of it, because, he's biased as hell to his waifu.
Dude, Anduin and Thrall would have some serious bro talk of that situation afterwards.
Dude, I look forward, I feel so bad saying this, I look forward to what's happening after Shadowlands, because we are definitely going back to Azeroth, and some shit is going to go down.
Hopefully Kata 2.0. Hopefully Kata 2.0.
Hopefully Cataclysm 2.0, hopefully Dragon Isles, hopefully
Rathian.
All sorts of glorious stuff going on.
Rexar, Chen, Rokhan.
I really just, I want a return to form of just going back to Azeroth. I'm kind of sick of cosmic stuff already. I feel bad saying that, but I mean, I'm still looking forward to what's happening in Shadowlands. Like, don't get it twisted, but I want to go back to Azeroth. I want to see what's going on with the factions. I care about the factions the most, and I know that my good old buddy Evo, who's probably watching this podcast, and if he isn't, then, he gets to click on this timestamp or whatever and hear us trash talk him. But I know Evo really likes the cosmetic stuff and is kind of tired of the Azeroth stuff. But I love the Azeroth stuff. But as I was saying with Tyrande, I think that it can go so many ways. I think one, she'll either come in. She's here to kill Sylvanas. Sylvanas says that she has a way to stop the jailer, and Tyrande gives in and is like, "All right, I'll give you this chance, but when we're done with the jailer, I'm going for that head of yours," and which could be Sylvanas and Tyrande bonding time. Oh boy, friendship.
God, that would be kind of interesting.
Tyrande. So many people would be pissed off if they did that. Let's be fair. Like, oh, Totacell? Doesn't matter. They're in Ardawild now. It doesn't matter, you know. I hate people who do that. I hate people who demean the deaths of the Night Elves. Like, that still happened. I get it. It's a video game.
Absolutely.
Like,
there needs to be justice for that. Like,
don't get too serious about it because it is a video game. These are pixels, but don't wave your hand and go, "Oh, Tyrande and Sylvanas are best buddies now because they both hate the jailer." Like, no. Don't do that. But another thing that could happen is Tyrande comes in, she's gonna kill Sylvanas, she does it, or Bolvar or someone stops her or kills Tyrande in the process. Ooh. That would piss off a lot of people too. Like,
to be honest, I want Chandris to take over the Night Elves.
Me too. Chandris and Maiev would be way better than the current leadership. I don't hate Malfurion, but you know, he's a little boring. I don't hate him. I think he works better out as the leader of the druids than anything else. Like, not a leader of a race, but...
Yeah, absolutely. Like, he shouldn't even be involved in the faction stuff, to be honest, nowadays.
I really love that Maiev's a part of the Night Elf Alliance. That's really cool. That's one of the best things about BFA. Oh, there's so many good things about BFA. But another thing that could happen... Oh, sorry.
After this, Skoll will wrap down for today.
Yeah. I was just... Yeah, that's a good... We've been almost on for an hour, almost, which I was like, let's try to go for 30 minutes, but we're at 41 minutes.
We're on some good rants right now.
Yeah. But I like that Maiev is a part of the Alliance now, and I think it'd be cool if she was the new part of the new leadership. She already kind of is. She's already kind of the leader of the military, a very similar situation to Turalian, which makes me... I'm kind of looking over here going like, well... Rexxar is the new mentor to Zappy Boy, so does that mean Rexxar is going to take over Sarfing's position as leader of the Horde military?
Ooh, I like that, actually.
I kind of want that. I know that this is the Sylvanas podcast, but we're over here talking about Rexxar.
Let's be real, it can G. Speaking of that, G and Thrall need to do something.
Yeah. I'm not against that. I kind of want the new squad, because if Chen is really retiring and going and just chilling with Yalia, and Rokan's busy leading the Darkspears, you know what the new squad can be? It's Rexxar, Zakan, and G.
That would be awesome, especially after G's betrayal in Shadows Rising. Oh my god, that'd be so good.
We need more G. We need more G. But as I was mentioning before, like a while ago, I should have brought this up, but Blizzard said we would see some familiar faces in the Tower of the Damned, and one of them could be Sarfing.
Oh,
well, maybe Gul'dan, but who the fuck cares about Gul'dan when you got Sarfing?
That's fair.
I've been saying this since Shadowlands was announced, and everyone's been going to the Maw when they die, but I would love it if we get a Dranosh and Broxagar team up to save Sarfang from the Maw, and we just get a little cameo of them busting in and saving Sarfang and being like, alright, let's get your ass to Maldraxxus, bro.
Him reuniting with Dranosh would be really touching, to be honest.
Yes. I know Blizzard said that they kind of don't want to do that, but, you know, Sarfang. Come on, he deserve out of all the characters who deserve a happy ending, it's Sarfang. I mean, he had a happy death, to be fair, because he got to stop Sylvanas and call her out for who she is, which, again, I really hope Blizzard just doesn't turn around and go, oh, she was faking it, or, oh, she just misinterpreted, or, you know, I think that Sarfang called her out perfectly. She's the one who said it in her own voice of, you are all nothing. Yeah. I still think Sylvanas sees us that way. I really do. I don't want
them to demean anything that happened in BFA.
Yes, that's. I think too many people are I hate the people. Legitimately, I do not like these people who are looking any way or form of just retconning BFA or just
what?
Like, Yeah, people want that shit. There are people out there who hate BFA so much and hate the Sarfang arc and Jaina arc so much that they just want it to be forgotten about, like not even mentioned, which is so stupid. And that's what I love about Shadowlands, because Shadowlands does not demean BFA. In fact, I'd say it's a nice little nod to it at times. Like,
it makes it better.
The other side dungeon's a nod to it. Thrall and Jaina and the characters that are tagging along from... I know a lot of people don't like that it's the BFA cast, as they like to call them, but I love that it's Bane, Jaina, and Thrall, and Anduin, who are the main characters that came along. I know a lot of people don't like that, but they make the most sense because they have the most characters who are dead. Like, who are you gonna bring to the Shadowlands that, I want Lorthamar to come? Like, what is Lorthamar just gonna interact with Kael'thas? I guess, but like, that's not gonna be an emotional thing. That's gonna be just like, I fucking hate your ass for what you did. Like,
I think a lot of other characters next expansion after Shadowlands will get a good chance to shine.
Like Rexxar.
NG. But
Rexxar, G, all that stuff. But yeah, Sylvanas is definitely gonna
do something. Man, she's gonna do something.
She's gonna do something, and it's gonna either make people mad or happy. It's not gonna be or. It's either or, really. It's just... That's just how her character is, and I perfectly, as long as it's not done in a way where it's like, I'm right, you're wrong, or like, she doesn't get to suffer for her consequences, I'm okay with it as long as she gets to suffer a little bit, because she did do a lot of terrible things.
I'm just excited for her story. I think ultimately it's a good conclusion. Yep, that's a good way to wrap down the podcast, is... Her story is going to be coming to an end after years of speculation from, I would say, Cataclysm at this point, of what she's been up to. My main thing, regardless of all the stuff she's done, I definitely think she deserves a good, not like a happy ending, but whatever she gets, I hope is satisfying for the character because of how many fans she has. And I think that's the most important thing.
I do want the fans of Sylvanas to get a decent ending. I don't want this just to turn into a hate contest of, oh man, Sylvanas sucks, let's dump her in the toilet. Like, no. Like, I think that ultimately, I do think that she deserves to have a moment of heroism, or at the very least, she gets to get back at the jailer who basically ruined her life. Like I said before, I do think that the jailer was the one who tweaked it so she would go to the Maw and not Revendreth or Maldraxxus or wherever. I think that the moment she realizes it, the moment I've been used, I've been turned, I've been, the biggest bamboozled moment for Sylvanas, and she's
been a slave all along, is what's sad.
Yeah. She was not able to escape the fate that she thought she did by the end of Warcraft 3.
I think that's what we're gonna get, to be honest. I really do.
I think that she is going... I don't think she should replace the jailer. I don't think that should be the situation. Too many people think that's what she deserves, and I think that that's a position of power that is too much for a mortal. I think that she should just be treated like anybody else, and just, you're immortal, so you get to go to this realm, and you get to turn into this, or become this. Like, I do think by the end of the expansion, she will die, and she will go to the realm that's suited for her. If she's, like, I guess to a degree, it would make some sense to put someone in the place of the jailer, but I mean, that could be Bolvar, that could be anybody, really.
I do like the idea of it being Bolvar, to be honest.
Do we really need a jailer after this? That's another question. Like, the whole Lich King thing, it's like, well, there are some Scourge still left on there, and, now that we know that the Lich King helm is what's keeping our realms apart or whatever, like, repair that thing and just put it back on Bolvar, and he can be the Lich King and resume that position of power.
Right.
Either by freezing up or just becoming the leader of the Emon Blade or something. Like, I mean, like, they could have an Illidan moment with Bolvar. I'm not really picky at this point with him, but in terms of Sylvanas, I don't think she deserves to be the new jailer. I think she just deserves a chance at being in an afterlife besides the Maw. That's all I think, really. Like, I think
that would be a good ending for her too.
I do. The one thing that does bother me is she did do all this stuff willingly, but at the same time, though, if it's true that she was bamboozled into this whole position, this whole thing, because the jailer tweaked it, that makes sense to me that she at least deserves a chance in Revendreth. Like,
it makes a lot more of her dialogue make sense too, to be honest.
Like, it doesn't absolve the things she did. She still did them. And the thing about Revendreth is, you do not spend in there for like 5 minutes. You do not spend in there for like a day. You spend in there for eons sometimes. So, like, when people are like, oh, you know, the Revendreth is a little too, like, a lot of people think that Revendreth is too light of a punishment. It's not. It is not.
No, they got tortured as shit a lot of the time.
That place is not going to be, you know, a paradise for Sylvanas. It's going to be rough for her. And I think that's perfect because, one, it means that she can get her redemption and we don't get to see it. And two, it means she gets to get punished for all the terrible things she's inflicted on everybody. And if she does things right, she can not go to the Maw. But if she messes things up, hey, you had your second chance. You've had more than second chance, honestly, because of how many times she's been revived from her Valkyr.
Right.
So I think Revendreth is just a fitting place for her by the end of this. Like I said, especially if she was bamboozled by the jailer. If she wasn't bamboozled and she was supposed to go to the Maw,
bean-boozled by the jailer.
That's another story.
That's something maybe we could talk about on another episode. But I think we've definitely treaded enough ground with this topic, and yeah, it's good to be back, Skoll. That's all I gotta say.
Hell yeah, we can talk about all sorts of other stuff in the next podcast, and when the cinematic gets revealed, we should definitely talk about that as like a sequel.
Oh, absolutely. And we're very flexible too, like with topics. Like if there's anything you want us to rant on about, literally just post it in the description, and Skoll and I will record it someday. Like
we will definitely. The next topic I want to talk about is the next expansion after Shadowlands, because there's so many concepts and ideas that they can do.
And a G-Firepot episode.
Oh, yeah. G-Firepot and Rexar episode. Let's go.
But anyway, guys, check my buddy Skoll out on YouTube. And thank you guys so much for watching if you made it this far. And we will see you next time.
See ya.